Hey everybody, and welcome to Enter the Fishy Matrix with Danny and the Biz. Biz is a little late right now, so I decided to just go ahead and get it rolling. Um, got a very special guest for you guys tonight. We had done our little visitation to Marine Solutions a couple weeks back, and talking to the owner of the place, and we decided to go ahead and bring him up and have him just kind of share a little bit of what he does and all of that. So he's going to be popping in here in just a second. I'll bring him up, but let me go ahead and start saying hi to everybody. We got Chewy, Lunatic Fringe, Mexicali Fish Keeper, Mississippi Hippie Fishies. I like the addition of the fishies at the end of it. It makes it even more difficult to say. Gina's Reef and Christopher Medeiros and Bunny Viper and Chris Robertson, Misfit Reptiles and Aquatics. I'm guessing he probably had a stream going because everybody's saying hashtag show me your lizard. B Wizzle sent us. Okay, nice. Okay, how's it going, Paul McCarthy? So yeah, B Wizzle, the Nano Aquarium guy, Vanaski Fish Kodo, Peplin Creek Aquatics, Mountaintop Fish, Elizabeth Florida Fish Rescue, Majestic Cichlids, Only Oscars, Caged Aquatics, Lady Diane, Dave Farrell, Patrick Hardy, Liquid Zoo Only Fins. My lizard is smaller than yours. Yeah, probably. Let's see. Wow, there's lots of people in here already. 22. That's crazy awesome. Thanks everybody for showing up. So yeah, Drew's mom, I guess, is still in the hospital. He just got back and he's putting the baby to sleep. He'll be back soon. But let me go ahead and bring Damon up for you guys. How you doing, Damon?
Hello.
How was everything with Marine Solutions this week?
About average. We're starting to see the typical, summer coming slowdown a little bit, which is, seasonal for our business, kind of typical.
Yeah. I had a really awesome time coming into your store and like doing some filming of all the different like corals and tanks that you had a lot of variety there. I'm really new to saltwater, and so seeing a lot of those things is just so many things that I hadn't seen before.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot in the saltwater world. That's for sure.
Yeah, and then you had a whole other side. You're getting started with freshwater and stuff too, right?
Yeah, we actually brought those units in. They're Dutch Aquarium Systems Thrive units. We brought those in actually right as the pandemic had started, and we've been so busy ever since. Like the pandemic just like threw our industry into overdrive, and we've been so busy. I haven't had a chance to get them completely set up. It's close, and we get phone calls every day. Have you guys got your freshwater set up yet?
Yeah.
So we're getting there. I'd like to hopefully have them up and running by the end of summer.
Yeah. So, well, it was really interesting getting my way out to Marine Solutions because, I had never been there before, and it just seemed kind of weird, like in the middle of this industrial area.
Yeah, we're kind of we're just a little off the beaten path, but we're right there at the Page extension, so it's pretty convenient actually. But our industry can be a challenge to be in some of that higher rent area, to be out on the frontage road, so to speak. So you sacrifice a little bit of a location because we're a destination station. In this hobby, if you hear about an LFS, you'll go find it. It doesn't matter where it's at, you'll go find it.
Right. So how do you get your name out there? Like, cause do you have a website?
Yeah, right now it's mostly just a landing page. We do intend to have e-commerce. We've intended to have e-commerce for quite some time, actually, ever since Reef Keepers acquired the store. But it's been quite the emotional roller coaster dealing with web building companies, etc. It's not been much fun in that aspect.
Yeah. So what ways do you get your name out there other than like that? Like, do you have a
We had
Facebook
we had a radio ad that was playing out here for a while in the St. Charles area. Actually, I mean, Marine Solutions has been around for several decades now, so it's been kind of a household name. It was one of the reasons why, when Reef Keepers was looking at expanding beyond just custom installation and maintenance, having an LFS was more of we'll call it a necessary evil, so to speak. It's what is capable of driving a lot of that traffic. And so, plus, I needed to have a place to house livestock, et cetera, et cetera. So you might as well be open to the public if you're going to hold on to stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
And so, it came down to either start a store or buy one. And, just acquiring a store just kind of made more sense as far as having a, turnkey customer base, so to speak, having that foot traffic right out the gate, so to speak. So, we bought Marine Solutions in September of 2014, and it was just, take off from there. And like I said, we'd always wanted to get into the web side of it, but it takes LFSs take a lot of the owner's time, dealing with just the business side of things and keeping everything running as smoothly as possible.
Right, like you were saying that you haven't had a day off in how long?
Well, for a little while there, I was starting to take a day off, or maybe 2 per week. But honestly, for the solid 10 years, or more, maybe, I've been working close to 7 days a week.
Yeah,
it's been time flies quick when you're doing it that way.
Right, I see the Jimmy P's Aquariums rolled in here. How's it going, Jimmy P? Good to see you here. And St. Louis is awesome, Jimmy. You should come back. California sucks.
I've been kind of surprised when I visit other states and go. I always want to go and see all the local LFSs, and I've always been so surprised at what's out there. I don't think a lot of the nation realizes how spoiled St. Louis is in terms of selection of LFSs that we have here.
Yeah, we have a whole lot of different ones, all within pretty much a 40-minute.
Yes. Yeah, I remember at one time, I don't think it's quite this bad now, but at one time there was 14 LFSs that were mostly saltwater only, or specialized in saltwater, within like a 50-mile radius of the St. Louis metropolitan area.
Yeah, you're the only St. Louis saltwater specialized store I've been to so far. There used to be a place over in Hazelwood called Belts Aquarium.
I actually worked at Belts in the hatchery for about 6 months.
Wow, that's awesome!
That brings back some memories.
Yes, that was my favorite place to go to when I was a kid.
Belts was around a long time. They had the wholesale side of the business as well as the retail. They were like the dry good distributor for about 3 states around here.
Yeah. Now, so Reef Keeper, that's your installation.
That's the company that I started in 2012. I had left the local LFS as, kind of one of those spats with the owner situations, and I just took the maintenances that I had already cultivated throughout that time. I contacted them and said, hey, I'm not leaving the industry, but I'm going out on my own. And I quickly outgrew the garage, and it took a little while to decide. You reach these financial walls, so to speak, where it's easy to grow to a certain point, but then you're either too big to stay small or too small to go big, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so it was like, well, do I hire somebody or do I, start this LFS thing? And so it was a decision to make as to, do we start our own store or just buy one? And so, it just shows the route of just buying one. Actually, another Damon Buer in Illinois, in Collinsville, him and I actually bought Aquatic Treasures out in the Collinsville area about 6 months or so prior to me buying Marine Solutions. And it was more in his backyard than it was mine. So, first we were just because he was a maintenance company as well. And we had bought Aquatic Treasures kind of together, and it was, 50 miles one way for me. So when the option for Marine Solutions finally came about, I had been in negotiations with them for a while. And when it finally came to fruition, I just said, hey, look, buy me out of my piece, and you do that and I'll do this. And so that's kind of how that went.
Nice. How's it going, Fish Traffic? Good to see you in here. Ivy, you're a mod now, so go ahead and post whatever links you want. I'm sorry, I didn't realize you weren't a mod. So your Reef Keepers business, you do like installations and maintenance, and mainly commercial, right?
Actually, we're about 50-50 commercial and residential. And we have, in fact, our largest aquariums are in residential homes versus commercial. I mean, we have quite a few, good sized commercials, obviously, because they're in larger spaces. But yeah, Reef Keepers is, I do custom installation. I do installs that I think Drew's going to try to come out and see one of our latest works of art. And I don't think anybody does kind of what I do as far as the, how the level of detail and whatnot that goes into the installations that I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, to go back to your question about advertising, I've never advertised for Reef Keepers ever. It's always been word of mouth. And we turn work down regularly just because, if you grow too big or too fast or whatever, and you can't keep up with all those things that are going on, you're just going to ruin the name that you've started to build for yourself. And it's taken me a long time to build the name that we have.
Oh, right. And I mean, like, I was starting to think about and kind of starting to put work towards doing a business kind of like that, but actually like focusing on heavily planted like freshwater tanks versus like saltwater tanks, and showing people that freshwater can be just as beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen some freshwater planted tanks that are every bit as impressive as a reef to me. I mean, because I know what it takes to make that kind of thing happen, and to make it look as beautiful. Some of the aquascaping that the freshwater world does is pretty darn cool. That you just don't, the goal for reef is always, usually trying to make it look as natural as possible, so to speak. But, I've seen some really incredible freshwater aquascapes that are quite impressive.
Nice. Yeah. And so I was thinking about getting into that, and I even made like business cards and everything. And then it's just like trying to do my full-time job that I was doing and kind of working into that, and like trying to get like the word of mouth out there. Is like, yeah, like how hardcore do I want to advertise? Because I don't want to like all of a sudden have like 100 people asking me to do stuff and just being like not prepared to go out and do all that stuff. Because it's quite an investment at first, if you don't have all the equipment to like set up these tanks. You gotta either get a loan to get started, or like have people like
I literally started
don't want to prepay for work.
I literally started with nothing other than a small client list that I had built up over the years. It was systems that I had sold and installed and was doing the maintenance already. And it's Other than having a small client list, I literally, and don't get me wrong, that was huge. Obviously, you couldn't really just step off and do that on your own unless you had some other source of income, and that was my source of income already. So, I was pretty fortunate in terms of, but to be fair, I worked my butt off in order to have the clients that I did. I've always been kind of opposite of, you know, I see it all the time where, people are promising a $10 job and deliver a $5 job. And I'm usually the other way around. And it's been to the detriment sometimes of the pocketbook, the budget, whatnot. But I'm more interested in having, you know, uh, clients that are happy, having something that's like, oh yeah, I built that,
Yeah.
And in the commercial environment, when you see some kid's eyes light up and he, leaves his mom's hand to run up and, oh, mommy, look, it's like, that's why I do this. That's awesome.
Exactly. Yeah, right. And like, yeah, that'd just be awesome to just have like such big tanks, just looking at them.
Yeah, it's funny how, when I got into the aquarium hobby as I think, what was I, like 18, got the little beta bowl like everybody else, and a friend of mine had a 55-gallon tank with cichlids in it, and I thought, oh my God, this is like SeaWorld. I thought 55 was so big, and it's kind of a privilege to be able to work with some of the stuff that we do, because I get to use other people's money to build things that I think are cool. You know what I mean? It's like I have a couple of clients that we joke. I'm like, hey, thanks for letting me keep my tank at your house. So.
Well, right, and that's kind of how I was viewing it too. Is like basically like I ran out of space in my house, so let me start making fish tanks in other people's houses.
Amen.
And they'll pay me to do it.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Drew's here. Come on, Drew. You can pop up whenever you're ready. Like I sent you the link. I'm pretty sure I did. Oh, well, let me text you the link from my phone then, Drew. Since you lost it from the door, I guess maybe I didn't get the group text. Hold on. Copy. There you go. Now you got it. But that's kind of why I started my YouTube channel, was to start like just sharing my fish tanks and different stuff too, because people enjoy that sort of stuff. And I started during the like right at the start of the pandemic was when I started my YouTube channel and all that too. So it was a way to get people to get the ooh and ah without having people actually come into my house. And
right.
But yeah, I did have I've had people over at my house, and it's just a really, really fun experience to just have people just come by and just be like, wow, I look back and I look at it every day. So the amazement is just lost for me. There he is.
Hey. What's cracking?
How's your mom?
Man, just left the hospital, and she is regaining her. She's still numb in all the extremities, but she's moving her arms, not her feet yet. So, but she can feel me touch each. So we're really.
She had a stroke?
So yeah, you explained to everybody what happened, because I kind of shared some minor details. I didn't really go into it.
So while I was in Texas for my I went to the National Science Teachers Conference. I had never been before. I'm the youngest science teacher in my district, so they all was like, "Oh, Clark, you got to go." So I went. It was in Houston, Texas, and while I was there, my mother suffered a fall.
Oh,
Apparently, she was looking out the window. My mother's 76. My dad's 78. In a wheelchair, missing a right leg due to a cancer they found on his shin. And so it's him. They live together. And my niece, who's 15 years old, who also goes to the same school I teach at, she lives with me. Well, anyway, she turned from looking out the window, and I believe she stumbled over the computer chair and hit her face on the computer table, split her lip to where she needed stitches, and jostled her neck enough to need pins and rods surgery.
wow.
And then she had a swelling of the spinal cord, and she had a bruise on her brain. So all of that off of one trip and fall.
Wow.
So my niece was frantic. She called her mom, which is my sister. My sister becomes frantic and calls me and tells me to get over to the house. And I had to remind her that I'm all the way in Houston. And so I called my niece, who still is frantic, who is there with my mother. And I asked her if she's talking. I'm trying to calm her down. Is she talking? She said, yes. She said, but there's some blood. So she must have been laying face down. She said, I don't want to touch her. I don't want to touch her, Uncle Andy. I don't want to touch her. I don't want to touch her. And she keeps telling me to turn her over. She keeps telling me to turn her neck. And I said, don't touch her. She had already called the paramedics. So I stayed on the phone till they got there. They got her and said that the blood came from the of the neck, of the lip. So after they did some scans and x-rays, they had to go in and put some pins and rods in the neck.
Wow.
And then they had to do a second surgery because they said after they did the first one, it was still too much fluid that was putting more pressure on the spinal cord. So they had to do a second one, and she's been in recovery from there. She left ICU and got her own room yesterday. And since she's been there, my dad and myself have been going back and forth, trying not to let her even spend an hour alone. The visit hours are from 9 to 8. So at Barnes, I'm at Barnes. She's at Barnes, I mean.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Damon, can
But
you
you
go
do.
into your audio, go into settings and go into audio and make sure the echo cancellation has a check on it?
let me check mine too.
Yes, it does.
And make sure you don't have do you have YouTube open?
I might, yeah. There we go. Does that help?
Interference? No,
Yo.
there's a little bit there.
Does that help?
Maybe. I don't know. We'll find out as we keep talking.
Yeah. So it's been rough.
Kind of there. Drew, is it you, Drew?
Is it me? Ever since I came on, has it been issues?
I kind of noticed it a little bit when it was me and Damon talking about. I don't know if it's.
Hello, yo.
Still just a little bit.
Yo. I changed
Hold
my
on.
microphone.
Let me, if I mute Damon.
Hello?
Keep saying something, Drew.
Oh, yeah, something.
Yep. So it's the echo's coming from his end, unfortunately.
Well, it's
Because if I mute him, there's no echo. But
for those of you all who I owe shirts to, I will be getting those out. I'm trying to get those out Monday. Sorry, I've been having a time.
yeah.
to say the least. I'm sick of our hospitals so much. I can't. I can't do them no more.
I hate hospitals.
Yeah. So, how far have you been with Damon and the questioning?
We've talked a little bit about marine solutions. We were just really getting into reef keepers, talking about his how he does all the commercial tanks, and then
I don't know if you guys can hear me, but the audio is really bad of what I'm hearing from you.
Oh wow.
Huh. Yeah, I have birds. That's what you're hearing.
What do you hear, Damon? Is it just coming in like wingy dings? Or?
Yeah, just like really almost garbled.
From both of us?
Yes.
Okay. You're having connection issues then.
Are you on your phone, Damon?
Yes, I'm on a phone.
Yeah, it'll happen sometimes. Are you able to understand this though?
Yeah, just come. I mean, I can understand you as long as it's not an issue for anyone else.
Yeah, it's all. Sound is good on our end.
Now it went away. It just went away.
Okay. Good. So Gina just asked if the shark eggs are in stock because she has a customer that's interested in Petco, I guess.
Yes, we have 3 shark eggs in stock right now, and 2 of them, especially one of them, you can see little worm wiggling around in there. They've got a ways to go. There's a lot of egg yolk and little itty bitty shark.
What type of sharks?
They are banded cat shark, the coral banded cat shark.
Nice.
Yeah, sharks have been kind of popular here lately, but at least at the store. But I suppose that's because I brought some in and everybody wants to come see them. We've had some horn sharks and epaulet sharks and banded cat sharks here at the store lately. We're down to just 1 epaulet shark right now and 3 stingrays.
Nice. So do you actually ever get cuttlefish eggs in?
Yeah, we've gotten cuttlefish eggs. In fact, we've even had flamboyant cuttlefish in the store from time to time. They're quite amazing creatures. The eggs, though, they're kind of hard. It's difficult to find a place to put them and let them hatch because when the cuttlefish come out, they're so tiny and they're so they're already capable of blending in with their environment. It's difficult to even see them once they're out and about.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, we've got some pretty cool stuff at the store over the years.
So what's somebody Bunny Viper asked what's your favorite fish in your store?
Oh man, that's honestly a tough one because I have there's fish that were kind of like the first fish that I had when I was in the hobby that I've always got a soft spot for, like the bicolor blenny. They're a cheap fish but very inquisitive. They'll watch you as much as you're watching them. They're just a really great beginner fish, and so that's always kind of had a spot in my heart. But I'm partial to certain tangs, and I like wrasses. I love the leopard wrasse family. Practically all the leopard wrasses, I just love them. Usually,
I really like wrasses.
Several of them in stock. And we've got a pair of golden rhomboid wrasses in right now. That's always like, oh yeah, check that out. Look at that. It's.
What's your most expensive fish in there?
The most expensive fish probably at the moment would be we've got some Borbonius anthea, the blotchy anthea, and they run. We have 2 of them. We've actually had them around. It's been a year now. They've actually been in the store a year now. They run $750 each.
Damn.
Yeah, and that's not even close to how expensive the hobby's capable of getting.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the rhomboid wrasse, the male, we have a super male, and I believe he runs like 4.25 or 450.
Jesus.
We had somebody. You guys remember the big tank, the one that's set up, the 375, the one that's for sale?
Yeah.
We had somebody drop off a Stars and Stripe puffer. This thing is like, it's huge. If you thought the other two puffers were big, not even close. This dude's huge, and I just walked on right into the community, and all is doing well.
Dang, that's crazy.
That tank's starting to turn into the place we put the big fish.
Yeah, that tank is awesome. I got some pretty good footage of it too, and you have like a whole refugium underneath that I didn't get footage of. I didn't think about it, but
yeah, that system was designed to be as low maintenance and as cost effective as possible too. You know, a lot of people don't realize, you know, when you get into, you got to think about what's it cost to own this thing, not just what's it cost to buy it, you know?
Yeah.
And so we try to do a lot of focusing on keeping cost of ownership down. You know, lessening the requirement for maintenances through nutrient reduction through other means. And so that system was designed to, you know, I mean, it's got roller mats on it, you know, it's like a filter sock, but on a roll, so you don't have to clean them.
yeah.
We've got that plus a skimmer plus, you know, macroalgae growing. And then that system when it was installed at the home that it was in, it was set up with auto water changes as well.
That's a hell of a setup. I remember, what's your guy's name that was working with you, the skinny guy?
Joe?
Yeah. He opened it up and showed us the roller system and everything else. I was like, super intricate, man.
And the copepods that were, you know, almost an inch longer.
Yeah, some of those amphipods get pretty big in there.
Yeah.
You were showing me an extensive setup in people's houses, intricate plumbing mixed with electrical work, and all of it is digital to the fact that you could be at your desk.
Anywhere that you have computer access, yes. Yeah, we deal with the Neptune Systems Apex aquarium controller, and we're actually a direct distributor, and we've hit a few milestones. We're in the top 20 in sales in the country out of 350 LFS, out of 350 retail stores, including online sales. So I feel like, hey, you're going to match me against the online guys, and I'm in the top 20. Nice.
That's really good
there, though. But yeah, that particular project, Drew, I'm going to have you out there. I'm almost done with it, and you're going to have to come see this. It's pretty impressive, actually. This guy, I mean, it just started out as, you know, hey, we just want to put the filtration in the basement, and then you know, as I talked to him about options and stuff, and one of the things that he actually was wanting was the ability to go on vacation and this and that, and not worry about his aquarium, and you know, so the ability to monitor, not worry about it, but monitor it from remotely, and to control it remotely, and that kind of thing.
Man.
You know, much interested in him, and then so that just turned into, well, hey, let's do this too, and hey, let's do that too, and now it's become this huge project.
It's a whole thing. That's freaking awesome.
He's got a 150-gallon 4-foot tank and a 250-gallon corner tank that's on the same filtration system, and that's on main floor with the filtration in the basement, and then we're doing Apex controlled, but its own filtration with auto water change from the basement, mind you. So all three tanks are, 2 of them on the same filtration system, but all 3 of them are on the same control system.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You guys have come a long way from Deuce Bigelow, male gigolo. Fishy.
Yeah.
Don't do that. They don't like that.
Man. So because you got all your different businesses and stuff, your name definitely gets out there. You say that you're having to turn down business all the time, so you have somebody that they hear of Marine Solutions. They drive their way out there and they have absolutely no idea of what they're doing at all. And they walk in and they're just amazed by everything. And they start picking out and they're like, I want this and I want that and I want this. What do you do?
Well, that's what really sets us apart from, the PetSmart Petcos of the world is
It's Gina's job now.
Yeah, that was not anymore. Gina doesn't have to suffer that anymore. We're here, we're here to help people get in the hobby, enjoy the hobby, to not to try to avoid all of the pitfalls of the hobby. There's obviously more than one way to skin this cat, right? In fact, our hobby is so full of just opinion. There's not that much that's just bona fide fact. You have to, fill in the blank. There's more than one way to skin the proverbial cat. And so we try to help people, enjoy the hobby and not experience the frustrations, because that doesn't do us any good. If you're a frustrated hobbyist, you're not going to stay in the game. You're not going to stay in the hobby. You're going to badmouth it or whatever. You're just not going to enjoy it. And that's not fun for us. We like seeing the excitement that people have, especially the newbies, when they get started. One of the things that is a challenge for us is no, you cannot buy a fish today. You were just here yesterday and the day before. Yeah. But seeing that level of excitement has always been a real enjoyment for me. But we want to educate people. We want people to do things right, because the number one thing that we have a responsibility to is these animals. To just send them somewhere because somebody says they want something that really they shouldn't be having in the first place, either because their system isn't designed for it, or it's not compatible with other tank mates, or not compatible with the things that we've been hearing say. They want this, they want that. Well, okay, but you can't do this then, and so that's what we're there for, is to help guide people down their own path and to show them the methodologies that we use and to explain why we use those methodologies. The internet is one of the, in my opinion, it's the best but the worst place to go find information, because everyone thinks that their opinion is fact and that's the only way to do it. And it just couldn't be further from the truth when it comes.
Until you get a YouTube channel, everything I say is a fact now.
Right. Oh man. Yeah, and my ego doesn't need any more inflated for me to go down that path. So, but it's when people are new, they seek information, and so they hear, oh, well, this works, this does that, this does that, and then they start, hodgepodging everything together. And it's like, whoa, dude, what are you doing? Why are you doing this and this? That's the same thing, just a different methodology. You're kind of spinning your wheels here and wasting money on top of it. So, it's important for us to explain why we do what we do, so that you have a better understanding. If you want to be able to navigate through all of the opinion out there, then you need to be able to have a little bit of some critical thinking to go, well, why is this person doing that? And oh, that's why he's doing. Well, I've already got that taken care of. So you can dismiss that, piece of information, or go, hey, that's a great idea, because I was looking for, this, that, or the other, as far as, a change in what I'm doing.
That's real. Like, I really value the people that I've come in contact with thus far, and especially here in the Missouri area with Danny and Gina and Melanie Holmes and Lady Diane. We really talk and speak on the stuff that we really know about, not nothing that we looked up, not nothing,
right?
And and that's why you won't hear me talk a lot about fish that I haven't had. I only can tell you what I've done And when I'm teaching my students, I tell them what I've done in a glass box in a aquarium that worked for me.
Right.
Now, it could
Absolutely.
not work for anybody else. I might not recommend, or I might recommend. Depends. You know what I'm saying? But if it's worked for me, if I've seen it with my own eyes, then I can tell you that it works. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So I like that about you and your the way that you are running your business and your store, and it seems like you're getting employees that are of the same caliber. And
They got to have a passion. They got to have a passion for it. You know, it's not the money. It's certainly not the money.
right.
And you know, I'm really excited about Gina coming on board. You know, I feel like we've got a nice little team going on, and I think she's going to be a great addition to this.
How much do you pay?
She's going to be a lot happier too, because I think, you know, she wants to have, you know, to keep that passion that she has and to be allowed to have that passion be a part of her job. And, you know, unfortunately, that corporate mindset that these big box stores come with, that can be quite a challenge for, you know, because you're thinking outside the box is what you should be doing, and they want to keep you in the box.
Absolutely.
You know, the corporate way, so to speak. And
how much is the finder's fee that I get for sending Gina your way?
Well, that comes after she's been fully vetted for a couple of years. I don't know. Maybe you come work. Maybe
here you go. No, I'm setting up one saltwater tank, and that is it.
Yeah. Why? Why are you so afraid of salt water?
I don't know, but you did tell me that, you know, it's not bad, and if I follow your expert tutelage, I might be able to make it happen.
Hey, if you can do fresh water, you can do salt water for sure.
I love that.
I agree. I just think, you know, it's definitely a whole lot more expensive for sure.
There is definitely a different cost involved. Yeah. That's true. So, but the trade-off, you know, I mean, to be fair, there's a significant trade-off there too.
Once I stop killing guppies, I'll work my way over. I'm not going to kill off a marine betta that cost me like $300. I can't. That'll suck.
Let me tell you, it can be quite painful to see, you know, some of the fish loss that when it happens to somebody that.
$300, Damon. I would mouth
to mouth.
Dude,
how about a whole tank full of $300 fish?
Oh. Diane, there's a whole new variety of plants. You know, I'm really excited to get macroalgae and all this different stuff, man. Like, I'm super excited to get into saltwater.
You know what? I'll tell you what. One of the places that people can get into saltwater that's not terribly expensive is the nano reefs. Yeah. But you really, I mean, it's a challenge of keeping yourself in check, because it's very exciting. It's, you know, addictive as all outdoors, and you know, you want that next item. But nano stuff, you know, when you're dealing with a small volume of water, it's so easy to change a parameter that achieving that stability that we're all after, it's a little bit more of a challenge, but it's so amazing to see the micro world, you know, where everything is that big that would just get lost in a 50, 60, 70 gallon tank.
Yeah.
And you can
I agree. I have a couple.
You can keep them in a 1 gallon little pico if that's what you want to do. But we keep quite a few nano fishes and other nano inverts and stuff like that in our store. And I always, you know, it's common for people to want to get those nano cubes, those bio cubes and whatnot, and try to do, you know, more traditional fish in terms of, you know, they're dealing with the small fish, obviously, but, you know, where you're just honestly limited to 4 to 6 fish in a tank. And that's, you know, that just turns into the next size tank up, right? But to do an actual nano reef in a small tank like that, that's really cool. That's really cool.
I totally agree with you, but you know, just like you said, you know, smaller, it takes a whole lot more out of you, and that's why I like to go
you know,
bigger.
you want to know what the hardest part about it is? Patience. It's honestly, that is the most difficult thing about doing a nano tank is patience, because we're so in, wanting it now. Our society is so push button and so, instant gratification, that if you have patience, you can easily do a nano reef, but it's the patience that's key. And it requires even more patience when it comes to a nano than it does a larger system. But very, very rewarding. Very rewarding.
I have a question for you, and I want your 100% honest answer. Do you think it's possible to run a successful reef off of St. Louis tap water?
A reef, not really. And it's not so much. We have a lot more things in our tap water than just chlorine, right? We have heavy metals. There's phosphates, things like this, that on the one side, when you're dealing with reef, we're trying to put the sun over the top of this tank too, right? We have some very intense lighting in order to be able to do a living coral. And so that intense lighting, along with nitrate and phosphate, you're just inviting nuisance algae. And certain like high iron content, stuff like that, just really drives the growth of nuisance algae. So could a person do it? You're just going to generate a lot more work for yourself than what's necessary. And an RO filtration system, I mean, you can get a nice quality RO filter for $250 nowadays. I remember that used to be $450, $500, 10, 20 years ago. But a lot of the costs of some of the components of this hobby has gotten quite inexpensive, actually. And for $250 you're going to spend way more than that just fighting your tap water situation than to just deal with it in the beginning. Using an RODI filter. You could do a fish only with St. Louis tap water, but you're still going to be, because fish don't care about phosphate, but it's still something you'd want to try to control, and your lighting, as long as you only need to illuminate the tank for a fish only tank. We don't need that intense lighting that's actually going to drive algae growth.
Yeah. Because I'm still kind of new to all this, but that is something that I just kind of learned, that it's like, corals actually eat algae that is like growing within them, the algae is what eats everything else. So you're feeding the algae, and then the algae grows, and then that's what feeds the coral.
I mean, that's why a zero nitrate, a zero phosphate is that's not a desirable thing. But the zooanthellae algae that lives within the coral tissue, yes, it needs some sort of sustenance, if you will, and it mostly does that just through the coral passing water through its body, or eating solid food particles. But it's that zooanthellae algae that's generating the glucose that's what feeds the coral. So it's a symbiotic relationship. So
where is your saltwater tank?
Mine?
Yeah.
You mean like at my house?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't have one.
Oh.
I used to. It evaporated itself dry. all my
You don't have any fish tanks at the house?
Huh?
You don't have any fish tanks at the house?
Nope. That's
honestly, I'm not surprised with how many
kind of the last thing I want to deal with.
Any time at your own house.
Yeah, I used to have a 180, and it was nice, but I just didn't have. I mean, when you're working 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hour plus days, you just don't have time to do it at your own house. At some point, I will probably have another tank, and guess who's taking care of it? Reef keepers. It ain't gonna be me. It'll be mostly automated, but it's man, I'm one of those that you go down the rabbit hole. It's like, oh well, let's put this on, and well, since I'm here, let me add this, and $10,000 later, I'm still not done.
Yeah,
that's nuts. Well, I'm coming back up there because I want to see the Stars and Stripes 1, and 2. I need to get some ideas on tank size to put in my living room for this wife of mine.
The bigger the better, man. Get a 75.
Oh,
Yeah, that, you know what, and that's I really try to tell people it's kind of, you know, being in retail, everyone just kind of automatically assumes that you're trying to sell something, which is understandable. Obviously, that's what we're trying to do. But I really, really try to counsel people into, hey, if your dream is a 200-gallon tank, don't start off with a 50-gallon to see if we can do it, right? Because that 50 turns into 100, that turns into a 150, that finally turns into that 200-gallon that you wanted in the first place. Well, you want to save a lot of money? Just start where you want to be instead of all this intermediary, you know, you're spending twice the money through all those steps to finally get where you wanted to be. And
Hey man, that's real spit, man.
Just tell her that it's going to take a long time too, because I mean, like I said, I got my tank, my stand, some power heads, and a switch right now, like and a few rocks. Like I still got to get like a whole lot more rocks, all the substrate, and
you know, there's more. You can absolutely do it that way. When I remember being a customer at Marine Solutions, my 180-gallon tank that I had set up in this house decades ago, I wanted to go as big as I could. It was reasonable in terms of price of what I had to start with, but I didn't build it all at once. I bought the tank. I bought a tank with a great price. I jumped on a tank that they had ordered, but the guy wanted the overflows in a different spot, so they were just looking to unload it, right? I got my first light that way. You know, so you can build it out over time. Ultimately, my tank had 300 pounds of live rock in it by the time I was done, but I started with 60 pounds. And every other week or so when I go up and do my rounds at the LFSs and look through all the rock, and it's like, oh, look at this piece. I gotta have this piece, you know, and then just added it to the system. It took 6-8 months to build my system, but I had a lot more system than what I thought I could afford because I built it out slowly and I was willing to do that, you know, and I was poised that when they had something for a great deal, I was there to jump on it. You know, I was able to jump on it.
And it's like, I know that it takes, you know, anywhere from 2 to 3, maybe even longer, so many months for the tank to establish and like all the live rock and everything, to where it's like, well, that's a whole another period of time to, you know, save up money to buy myself some good lights, because you don't need the lights going.
That's right.
I got one question and one question only. Since you've stolen the best Petco Aquarius from Petco, when's your next $1 gallon set?
You know what? Unfortunately, that's the one thing that the big box stores definitely have as an advantage over us is their buying power. You know, we don't. I don't even actually have any manufacturers that deal with that. You know, the smaller, cheaper type stuff. We go 95% of all of our aquariums that we sell and install are all Planet aquariums. Very quality build. When you see that tank next to like a Petco type tank, you're like, oh yeah, I can see the difference. The polished edges and things like that. Our industry about 15 years ago, about 10 years ago, used to be a lot of distributors, right? That were the wholesale level distributors, and they all get bought up by the bigger guys. The bigger guys just keep swallowing up more and more. And so it limits our ability and who we're going to get product from. And then, you know, you get some big conglomerate that comes in and buys up somebody, and all they care about is dog food. And so then they put their company's typical whatever market, adjustment is for them. And all of a sudden our prices go up, and it's like, I can't even compete now. And, you know, it's because this big company just doesn't care about the aquatic side of the industry, right? Sure. So then we're now stuck trying to find alternatives. So
when's your next 10-year anniversary or 50th customer gets? Because I'm going to make sure I'm the 50th. I want my raffle tickets.
We did a raffle. We did a raffle in December. We had given it away an Apex EL. and we had given away a JBJ 45-gallon flat panel all-in-one tank and stand.
Oh, that's gangster. That's not bad.
Yeah, that was like $550 and $950 value that we had given away in the month of December.
Not bad. I'm gonna need you to call me personally next time.
We would come down and get those tickets. You know what though? We come across a lot of used stuff too. I mean, and if you're looking for something specific, or if you have a specific budget, you know, that you're trying to stay within, but you're looking, you know, hey, I want a big tank, as big as you can find me for this price. Give me enough time, we'll find it. You know.
That's what's up.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Because see,
We
what
got
I
the inside
was
scoop.
planning on doing was like basically like building my reef up and kind of getting that going, and then just like ordering a pack of flamboyant jellyfish eggs myself. You can get like a pack of like 15 to 20 of them for like $300 or something like that, and then just
they're all going to be worth like $1,800 when they're about that big.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's funny. That's an animal that actually came down in price. Yeah. I remember our cost on those used to be up 5,000 plus on something like that.
See, I didn't even know you could find these things at. Like,
yeah, and they've actually captive bred the flamboyant.
Yeah, and that's what's amazing to me too, and that's what I'm like really like hoping to do.
Wait a minute, man. 5,000.
Like,
oh yeah, geez. 5-10 years ago, a flamboyant cuttlefish wholesale price was $5,000.
Man, damn it, Danny, you do better going in the ocean and catching your own damn cuttlefish.
Yeah, if you've got the license, et cetera, because that's a $10,000 fine if you don't have that in place.
Just have a plane ticket up out of there. Just grab it and go.
Right.
And kill it
I had a customer that was vacationing down in Mexico, and the whole entire time all he could focus on, a bird come down and pick a fish out of the water. He's like, oh my God, that bird just ate a $300 fish. Everything he saw through the eyes of what it cost in the store.
Well, see, that's what I was at the American Cichlid Association last year. The big meeting they had here in St. Louis, and we were listening to this guy talking and doing a presentation, and he was showing like images and video of this like African tribe people that were doing their fishing, and they're showing all these beautiful African cichlids, and they're basically sorting them out. It's like, that one's for sale, this one's for food, and that one's for sale, and this one's for food. It's like they all are beautiful fish.
Right. Yeah, that's like the clam industry. I mean, if you've never seen the clam farming that goes on, just go down the YouTube rabbit hole on that one. That's pretty interesting to see.
Oh yeah. So I think some people were kind of looking for it or whatever. They were trying to just type in reef keepers on YouTube or whatever. You don't have a YouTube channel, do you?
No, I have just my own personal page is my under the name Reef Keepers. I'm probably going to start doing something like that just so we have a place to post up some of some of the videos of tanks that we have and builds and stuff that we have. I would like to do more of that social media type side of the business. I've already got on enough hats as it is. Where do I find more time in the day?
Well, that's where you just gotta, decide if you want to hire somebody else out to do it for you. That's what a lot of people end up having to do.
You know what? I had a kid that had come in and that was going to do that. He was kind of already working for a roofing company, doing that kind of stuff on the side while he was going to college, and I just didn't get an opportunity to steal him away. I tried, but I failed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would be interested in doing that. I think Gene is gonna take on some of that role too. I think.
Give me a timestamp, man. Talking to Fish Topic.
It's right at 1 hour.
Oh no, I see it. No. No, I'm sorry, this wasn't. I should have did this in my own time. Sorry, you guys. I'm talking to Fish Drop. Go on. What were we saying, Damon? How much was what were so saltwater tanks are the best now? Is that how it goes? In conclusion?
Yeah. Depends on what you're into, you know?
Yeah.
So, way earlier on, I'm not quite sure who it was. It might have been. Guys, I don't remember who it was that asked me to do it, but somebody asked me to like go around and basically, film all your like reef keepers tanks or whatever, and do like a reef keepers tours type thing. Like, I know I can't go into everybody's personal homes and stuff like that, but where are like all your different tanks? Where like have you done? I know you did the Gulf Shores tank that I did the little filming of on the end of my Marine Solutions video.
Yeah, we take care of all 3 Gulf Shores restaurants, pediatric dentistry, St. Louis cosmetic surgery, central dermatology, Clayton behavioral, what is it? Well, it used to be called Children's Learning Adventure. It's now Creme de la Creme or something like that. Trying to think of other locations that you could see our stuff. Can't think of any other commercial locations. I mean, we have locations that we've done installs that we know that we don't take care of the aquarium. We have a few of those out there as well.
That's awesome. So you pretty much have aquariums all over St. Louis.
Oh yeah, right now we're going as far as Highland, Illinois and Edwardsville, Illinois, and then all the way to Hannibal, Missouri, and all the way out to Arnold, Missouri as well. We have quite the round that, in terms of distance that we travel for.
Yeah, pretty much the entire Doppler radar system you cover, huh?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I still would like to go out to the last property before you guys finish with your build. The one that you were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're talking about the gentleman with the basement filtration.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see how it looks before you get it. Like when you flip the switch.
Well, it's already up and running, but
okay.
Yeah, you definitely need to come by and I'll show you everything that's there because it's
intricate, isn't
it?
So
the tanks are upstairs and all the filtration is like in the basement.
Yeah, there's actually like a filter room now.
That's epic.
Like, yeah, it's.
And you built all that,
huh?
And you built all that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm capable of doing, running the electric, from the panel over to the area, the plumbing, you name it, I can do all of that. Some of it we farm out, depending on, the situation or where it's located. But yeah, I start off with just a raw room and, and like an empty, unfinished basement and turn it into something,
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It takes a lot of work, but.
You were showing me that one where you had your guy do the intricate panel work around the fish tank that was in the wall, I believe.
Are you talking about the 10-footer, the big long one? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, and then you had the was it wood?
Yeah, it was the wood was Perota.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the cabinet guy that I worked with is absolutely phenomenal, and his brother's a master finisher, and so like they can build anything and match anything. Like you've already got cabinets in your house and you want to stand and you want it to match that. Oh, they can do that.
Man, that's freaking awesome. You've got some guys on your team, man. You got it.
Yeah, that job with that Perota wood, that it took us 8 months just to get the milling company to get us the wood that we needed for that project, because we needed the room is 12.5 feet long, so we needed 13-foot long boards in order to have that grain match and for it to be horizontal to go, for the full length of the room. That was, that's quite a project.
Wow.
Look,
We're supposed to be starting that tank up here pretty soon again. The guy, we mothballed the tank for a while because he expanded the entire back half of his house out 15 feet. So we had to shut everything down.
Where is he at? In Chesterfield, St. Peter, somewhere?
Actually, that gentleman lives in Arnold.
They got some nice houses out in Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
Austin, you are right. This reef keeper guy is a wealth of knowledge.
He is a wealth of knowledge. He definitely is.
It's been great talking to you, Damon, but man, we're gonna have to cut this off.
Okay.
We got Aqua. We're already 6 minutes over. We got Aquafunk coming up next.
Hold on, we need a hashtag. Should we hashtag Marine Solutions or hashtag Damon from St. Louis is a genius?
Hashtag Reef Keepers.
All right.
I think that's what we'll do is hashtag Reef Keepers. Even though we're not all Reef Keepers. But that's what we're going to end up being after learning all this stuff.
Yeah. Hey, if your community's got questions, if you guys want to have me back or whatever and just have them fire off questions or whatever, I'm happy to answer. Or, hey, come on by or email us or hit us up on Facebook or whatever.
What's your email address that I can share in the link?
It's STL, like St. Louis, STLReefKeepers@gmail.com.
Okay.
Can you beat me doing it? Or can I beat you doing it? Oh, you beat me.
Yeah. I can type faster, sorry.
Man,
we will have to have you on another time to talk more, man. It's been great, but we're going to have to head over to Aquapunk, everybody.
You know what, Damon? I might ask you to come on Monday if you're free onto my my platform and put you in the hot spot.
Okay.
I was kind of telling him a little bit about your hotspot there before the live stream. There,
it might be fun. I think Damon can handle himself.
Yeah, I'll be all right.
I'll call you with the deets.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Right.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. And Drew, what's that thing you like to say?
Hey, the wet stuff is the best stuff.
Amen.
And the best stuff is the wet stuff. Hashtag Reef Keepers, you guys.
Thanks.
Everybody have a great one.
All right.
Okay. So what do you need besides a miracle?
Fish.